Video 2.3, reliability and delivering. It is so important to walk your talk, especially during a crisis when all eyes are on you as a leader. It's not so much doing what you say you are going to do and straying away from false promises, but more so ensuring that your team, your vendors, and your neighbors can count on you to continue to make sound decisions and keep the company moving forward and not backwards. It's important during a crisis that you not bite off more than you can chew and you don't make promises that you can't deliver on. Staying alert and aligned on daily priorities is a great way to stay reliable and continue to deliver success for your team. Taking time to regroup first thing in the morning on your daily priorities and reviewing them at the end of the day to make adjustments for the next day will help you stay abreast of where the business is at and anything that needs to be immediately adjusted for success the next day. Informally creating goals and tracking them or measuring specific KPIs can also keep you and guide you to stay on track during a crisis. Tracking sales, even though they might be a fraction of normal sales and might be devastating to even actualize in your brain, but tracking them against a modified goal can still give you some normalcy in moving ahead. The restaurant client that I mentioned earlier went from doing about $40,000 a day to about $1,000 a day in the early stages of the pandemic. But that $1,000 a day became a new goal that we measured success against for several months. It wasn't much, but it gave us something to strive for. As leaders, we always have to remember that you can't pour from an empty pitcher. Self-care is more important during a crisis, especially a long-term crisis, than it normally is. Taking time each day for yourself, even if it's a 10-minute walk, a meditation, a hot bubble bath, whatever wellness and self-care mean for you, you have to schedule it in daily and keep that commitment to yourself. Find time to shut the phone off, and that will come easier when you have empowered leaders within your business that are confident in making decisions. When you lead by example and take care of yourself, your employees will follow in doing the same for themselves. About 10 years ago, I was going through a very, very busy time in my business. I wasn't in a crisis, but it definitely was a very hectic stage of growth. During that time, I took on a new focus in my health and started working out daily. Over the period of a few months, I lost 50 pounds, and then I started really not feeling good. For a while, I thought maybe I was lifting weights wrong, and then maybe moving boxes at our warehouse with bad form. And about 6 months later, I didn't even want to go to work. I felt terrible. Did I go to the doctor? No. I powered through, or I told myself that I was powering through, and I ended up lying under a table on my back on the concrete ground of a football stadium during an NFL game to relieve the pressure on my back. It took 6 hours for me to drive myself home on a normal hour-and-a-half route, and the next morning I went directly to the emergency room. I stayed in the hospital for 10 days. Thankfully, I didn't let whatever was going on go on any longer, and if I had, things would have been very rough, and I probably wouldn't be here today. So I can assure you that self-care is one of the most important components of being a leader, and we'll talk about that in a later module.